Listen up, my dear friends. Have you ever opened a bill, sighed, and paid it just to make it go away? You didn't question it. You didn't feel like arguing. You just wanted the problem off your plate. What if I told you some of those bills you never legally had to pay? Before we continue, if this video brought you any value today, I'd love for you to join me in doing one small good thing each day by supporting through Super Thanks. Every contribution helps provide warm blankets, a hot meal, or simply a moment of kindness for someone living outside without a place to call home. Now, let's get started. Margaret did exactly that. She's 74, a widow, lives in a quiet house just outside Denver. Every month, she paid $89 for an old insurance policy and $42 for a gym she hadn't walked into in over 3 years. She said, "It just felt easier to keep paying than to make a fuss." It wasn't until her daughter helped her review her statements that they realized she didn't need either. And more than that, some debts she'd been guilted into weren't even legally collectible anymore. They had simply expired. No one ever told her, because no one expects seniors to ask. And that's what troubles me. You see, I've sat with older clients who feel embarrassed asking for help, like they're supposed to just handle things. And that quiet sense of responsibility, that's exactly what companies count on. Older adults often carry an invisible weight, the belief that being the responsible one means you have to pay everything, question nothing, and never cause a fuss. But sometimes, doing the right thing becomes the very trap that others take advantage of. And the truth is, it's not your fault. Today, I want to gently show you which bills you may not need to pay anymore, not because of a trick, but because the law, your stage of life, and your needs have changed. These aren't loopholes. These are rights, quiet rights, and knowing them can give you more control over your money, and maybe even your peace of mind. You're not alone. I've helped hundreds of seniors walk through the same review, one bill at a time, one small step toward feeling in control again. And I'll walk beside you today too. I'll share 7 types of bills that many seniors are paying when they don't have to. And the last one? It's something most people pay thousands for, when they could get it covered with a phone call and a form. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, which bill causes you the most stress each month? You never know who might feel seen reading your story. So let's begin, starting with the most common and most unfair bill of all, denied medical charges. Section 1, medical bills denied by insurance. Have you ever opened a bill from the hospital and thought, "But I have insurance?" only to feel too tired to fight it? Joyce, one of my longtime clients, 71. She's soft-spoken, lives alone, and always pays her bills on time. One day, she received a $2,200 charge for an MRI her doctor ordered. Insurance denied it. No explanation, just a line that said, "Not medically necessary." Joyce was ready to pay it until she mentioned it to her neighbor's daughter, who urged her to appeal. Turns out, the doctor's office had sent the wrong code. One fax later, the bill disappeared. Here's what many people don't know. Most medical denials are fixable. They aren't your fault. They're caused by small clerical errors, missing paperwork, or automated systems. But unless you ask for a written explanation, you'll never know. You usually have 30 to 60 days to appeal. That window is yours. Use it. As a lawyer, I've seen seniors pay thousands out of pocket simply because no one told them they could ask. Yet according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, up to 80% of medical claim appeals are successful. That's not a rumor. It's fact. You deserve care without shame. A denial doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means a system failed, and it's okay to ask for a second look. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by a medical bill, I'd love to hear your story. Sometimes naming it is the first step toward relief. Take a breath. The next kind of bill? It might be one from years ago, One the law says you may not have to pay at all. Section 2. Old debts past the statute of limitations. What if I told you that some debts, especially old ones, expire? Mr. Reed is 77. A kind man, a widower, still sends birthday cards by hand. One morning, he got a call about a store credit card from 2009. The voice on the phone was firm. "You need to pay this now." Mr. Reed panicked. He almost sent a check. But when we checked his state's statute of limitations, the debt was legally uncollectible. The company had no right to demand it, and certainly no right to scare him. Every state has different rules, but in many cases, if a debt is older than 3 to 10 years, you may no longer be legally obligated to pay it. But here's the catch. If you say, "Yes, that's my debt," you might restart the clock. That's why it's so important to never confirm anything on the phone. Instead, ask for a written validation letter. Check your state's statute. If it's expired, send a cease and desist letter, and keep a copy. I know how deeply many older adults feel the weight of being responsible, of not wanting to cause trouble. But the law exists to protect you too, even if the collectors don't act like it. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, many debt collectors rely on fear, not facts. But facts are on your side. If you've ever gotten a call like this, I'm here to say, you're not alone and you're not powerless. A small letter can stop the calls. Let's keep going, because the next kind of bill, it's one you might be paying every single month, even though no one depends on it anymore. Section 3. Unneeded life insurance policies. Have you ever kept paying for something, not because you still need it, but because stopping feels like giving up? Estelle, 79, was doing just that. She had a life insurance policy she bought in her early 60s, $89 every month, faithfully paid. Her children are grown, her mortgage is long gone, and she has a small nest egg for final expenses. But she kept paying, out of habit, out of love, out of just in case. Then one day, her kitchen faucet burst. The repairs cost more than she had in her checking account. Her niece suggested she look into a life settlement. Estelle called a company and sold the policy for $6,000. That covered the repairs and gave her peace of mind, without another monthly bill to worry about. Here's what many seniors don't realize. If no one relies on your income, and you already have funds for funeral costs, that big life insurance policy might not serve you anymore. And letting it go doesn't mean you failed your family. It means you're finally taking care of yourself. You have options. Cancel the policy, switch to a small final expense plan, or explore selling it for cash. You can do this too. One small change can make a big difference. You're not letting anyone down. You are choosing yourself. And that's not giving up. It's wise. Let's talk next about something even sneakier. The little charges that chip away at your bank account without you realizing. Section 4. Subscriptions you forgot about. Do you remember the last time you used all your streaming services? Or that gym you joined years ago? If you're not sure, you're not alone. Darlene, 68, decided to go through 1 month of her credit card statement with a pen in hand. What she found shocked her. $12.99 for a magazine she hadn't read in over a year, $18 for a music app she thought she canceled, and a $42 gym membership for a gym she hadn't stepped inside since before COVID. In total, over $300 a year, gone without her noticing. Streaming platforms, newspaper trials, health tracking apps, these companies are smart. They don't send reminders. They make cancellation tricky. And they rely on something that's all too human. We forget. But here's the good news. You can take back control today. Use a free app like Rocket Money. Or just sit down with a cup of tea, pull up your latest statement, and mark anything you don't recognize. One phone call, one click. That's all it takes to stop the leak. And please remember, you are not careless. These companies are counting on you not noticing, but you're noticing now. That's power. Oh no. What if I told you your property taxes and utility bills might be too high, and you could fix that with one simple call? Section 5. Property tax breaks and utility discounts. Tell me, have you ever opened your property tax bill or electric bill and just felt defeated? Like no matter how careful you are, the numbers keep creeping up? That was exactly how Marion felt. She's 76, widowed, living on Social Security in a home she and her husband bought in the 80s. Every winter, her electric bill spiked. One day, while chatting with her neighbor, she learned about a senior discount program through her utility company. Not only did her electric bill get cut in half, they also came and added free insulation to her attic, all because she made one phone call. The truth is, many seniors across the country qualify for lower property taxes, frozen tax rates, or reduced utility bills, but no one tells them. And so they quietly keep paying, sometimes for decades, because they don't know they can ask. Start simple. Call your county tax office and say, "I'm over 65. Are there any senior exemptions I should know about?" Then visit benefits.gov and search for energy assistance in your state. Programs like LIHEAP or local nonprofits can offer discounts, upgrades, or even full payment help during tough months. You've paid into these systems all your life. You've earned the right to ask. According to AARP, more than half of eligible seniors never apply for energy assistance, simply because they didn't know it existed. Don't let that be you. Help is available, but only if you ask. You can do this too. Next, let's talk about something else that's quietly draining your money: fees from the very bank that's supposed to keep it safe. Section 6. Bank and credit card fees that can be waived. Ever opened your bank statement and spotted a charge you didn't expect? A late fee, an overdraft, a monthly maintenance charge that no one ever explained? That happened to Carl. He's 80, retired from the post office, and uses the same credit card he's had for over 25 years. One month, he missed the due date by 2 days. The bank charged him a $35 late fee. Carl sighed, picked up the phone, and simply asked, "Can this be waived?" Not only did they remove the fee, they lowered his interest rate too, all because he asked. Here's what most people don't know. Banks often say yes, especially if you've been a long-time customer. You just have to ask for what they call a one-time courtesy waiver. It's a quiet policy they won't advertise, but it's there. You're not asking for a favor, you're standing up for yourself. And that's not begging, it's being your own advocate. According to a 2022 Bankrate study, nearly 1 in 3 bank customers over 65 have never asked to waive a fee, even though most who do get it removed. One small call can save you more than just dollars. It can restore a little peace. Have you ever had a bank fee you didn't understand? If so, tell me in the comments. Someone else might learn from your story. Next, let's turn to one of the hardest conversations we avoid: funeral costs. But I promise, there's more flexibility than you've been told. Section 7. Funeral and burial expenses. You don't have to pay up front. Let me ask you something quietly. Have you ever worried about being a burden, even after you're gone? That's what Ms. Ruby, 72, was thinking when she nearly wrote a check for $9,000 to prepay her funeral. It felt like the responsible thing to do. Until her neighbor sat down with her and said, "You don't have to do this all at once." Together, they opened a payable on death account at her bank. So when the time comes, her children can access the funds without going into debt or probate. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to pay everything up front. Direct cremation, for example, costs a fraction of a traditional burial. If you or your spouse served in the military, you may be entitled to free burial benefits through the VA. And no matter what service you choose, you have the right to compare prices. The FTC's funeral rule protects you. Funeral homes must give clear itemized pricing if you ask. I've seen too many older adults feel they have to rush and overpay because they don't want to leave a mess. But your final wishes should bring peace, not pressure. You deserve affordable dignity, not sales tactics disguised as duty. According to the National Funeral Directors Association, the average funeral now costs over $7,800, but that doesn't mean you have to spend that much. If you've made a thoughtful plan that saved your family stress, would you share it in the comments? Your idea might give someone else the courage to plan differently. And as we close this journey, let's talk gently about something even deeper: control, dignity, and the quiet power of saying, I didn't grow up in this system, but I can learn to protect myself now. Let's take a deep breath together. Today you've walked through a quiet kind of power, the knowledge of which bills you may not have to pay, medical charges that were unfairly denied, debts that have quietly expired, insurance policies you no longer need, subscriptions that slipped through the cracks, taxes and fees you can reduce with a single question. You didn't grow up in a world of auto renewals, fine print, and digital loopholes. It's okay to slow down, to ask for help, to say, I need that in writing. You're not being difficult, you're being wise. Remember, one small change can make a big difference. A 5-minute phone call, a single letter, or just the decision to ask, do I really need this? If this video gave you clarity, share it with someone you care about, or leave a comment. What's one bill you're going to look at a little closer this week? You never know who needs to hear. They're not alone. I'm not just a lawyer. I'm someone who sat across from hundreds of older adults, women especially, who simply wanted to feel safe and seen. You still deserve peace of mind, and I'll keep showing up to help you find it.